Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Paddington in Peru. And this is from director Dougal Wilson and written by Mark Burton, John Foster, James Lamont, and based off of a screen story from Paul King and Cy Vinton Farnaby, who were the ones, really the the creators behind the first two films. Paul King leaves after the first two films directing them to go work on Wonka now, and here we have Wilson taking things over, and we're taking Paddington, our endearing, cute, adorable bear, and whisking him and the Browns off to Peru to find and see Aunt Lucy. And when she's missing, they wind up going on this adventure to try to find this ancient city of El Dorado. And this film is so charming. And it's hard because Paddington 2, arguably the greatest film ever made. I say that facetiously, but not really, on some level, because it's an absolute perfect film from start to finish. This film had a lot to live up to, and it's missing that King element, and I think King's missing. There's definitely a lot more of and it might just be where they took this film. It's a lot more sheeny, a little less cinematic at times, and there's also a lot more CGI backgrounds and stuff like that. It kind of takes some of the charm out of the film, and whether it's, having to rely on a lot more effects or, Paul King's not there. This film just feels like it's missing a little bit, missing just a tad of some of the magic of the first two movies. But this is still an endearing, charming, funny romp of an adventure that is so much fun, and the whole family can enjoy this together, and I think that's one of the most sincere and nice things about this film. The music, the presentation, just the tone of it's so joyous and fun. It has that old school kind of physical comedy. It has some adventurous feeling elements to it, like an old school adventure that you don't see a whole lot of. And you have this story where Paddington, which Ben Whishaw is so fantastic, he's grown up a little, and he has some moments where he might have to do a hard stare. But he's just so kind and tender in his performance as Paddington. And then you have the Browns, where Hugh Bonneville is still fantastic as Henry Brown, who's here really pushing himself to face the risk, and he just plays that nervousness, that neuroticism so well. Really missing Sally Hawkins here, but Emily Mortimer does a really fine job of capturing an emotion, and there's some big emotional beats for this story as Paddington really is exploring his past and where he comes from, and there's some big emotional elements of that towards the end of the film, and I think Mortimer is really the heart of the film and really anchoring us, the audience, down into those emotional moments. There's just this part with her and Paddington face to face, and I got emotional. My wife was crying. It really got to a point where this film still has that emotional weight too. And, you have the kids who are getting into a certain place in their life. This trip to Peru felt important to all of them. And I think that's what feels so special about it. And you still have Julie Walters' character, Mrs. Bird, who's a fun piece to the film. And, Jim Broadbent and some of the others of the community pop up a little bit at the beginning. But it's some of the new characters, like Olivia Colman plays the Reverend Mother of this, retirement home for bears out in the middle of the Peruvian jungle. And she is so fantastic, with a smile on her face, being extremely suspicious. And just the way that she plays that character is so fantastic. And there's more to meets the eye with Coleman's character, and Coleman just nails every bit of it. And then, of course, you have Antonio Banderas, who's more or less our antagonist for this film. He's a riverboat captain in the jungle, in the rainforest, and he has a whole entire lineage of this curse of having like gold fever. And he keeps seeing his ancestors, which is just him dressed up in all these other costumes. He is having a ball. Antonio Banderas is doing his Antonio Banderas. And you just have that feeling that he is so joyful portraying this character and these other versions of his ancestors that you can't help but be having a great time with him. He really understands, it's like, yes, little bear. And understanding the whole entire dynamic of this. Everybody understands the mission for this and the tone they're going for, and he nails it. And he even has some emotional moments towards the end, too, and he's able to balance that humor and that. There's some great physical comedy. There's some fun action beats, whether it's on this boat through the rapids or in the climax of the film with like big boulders and llamas and all kinds of stuff like that. And this film really brings Paddington's story to a new place with some new emotional resonance. And there's some surprises in the credits, so make sure to stick around. This film is unbelievably charming and just so joyous and leaves you with that bit of emotion at the end. And it's a wonderful addition to this franchise, even if King's missed on some level. This film still rises to the occasion and offers something new to this franchise and wonderfully joyous as always. But those are my thoughts on Paddington in Peru. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.